Welcome, everybody. How are you? John Zager. Monday morning, the 8th. Monday morning, the 8th. I'm going to turn on the truck. Sorry for the noise. It'll take just a second. Um, so, been busy this morning, up bright and early and going about doing my business, getting things taken care of. Uh, it's um, it's a nice morning. It's a nice morning. Temperature 75. Probably was in the mid 60s when I got up and got going. No rain last night, no hail, so that's good. Nothing damaging, and enjoyed the evening. Wanted to talk to you this morning just for a short. I'm going to try to keep these shorter and shorter each day so that I'm not, I don't know, going on and on about who knows what. But there seems to be, the issue of people are still not um, getting their answers to the questions that they have. An example of that is a person who was talking to Abraham, and he was wanting to know specifically why things are not happening, and he's doing all the exact things that he's supposed to, law of attraction kind of thing, Dr. Joe kind of thing. And Abraham was somewhat irritated at him for being insistent on not listening to what she had to say, which was nothing about his question. And she went on to talk about being at Taco Bell and getting a ticket for driving, and she has a tendency to not answer people's questions, and it's very frustrating. I can hear it in the tone of voice of the people who are out there, going to her workshops and whatnot, trying to get answers. On the other hand, I listened to the people at the workshops with Dr. Joe, and although he won't allow the rambling, or he won't allow the negative talk, the negative thoughts, the negative emotions, he cuts you short, and he tries to redirect you to what is healthy for you to self-heal. So he doesn't even avoid issues, he just redirects you. And he's very, very clear and very, very professional and kind and considerate. I'm sure they're both very, very nice people, but Dr. Joe gets the job done. Abraham, if it isn't her agenda, it's not going to happen. But the point being is, there are people out there, as we've been talking about for the past several days, several weeks, several months, several years, that are not getting their manifestations. They're not getting their intentions, even though they're doing all the right things. And here's the answer that I get from the professionals, quote unquote, that are out there doing this as a living. Here's kind of the answer that I get. And it seems to be, let me see if I can say this correctly. If you're not staying on point, the probability is you're not going to get your intention met. If you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about the purity of belief, the purity of your intention, uh, and and this is just another way of kind of saying the same thing. We have to stay on point with what our intention is. We have to stay very, very clear with what we're trying to do, right? And if we start altering from that path, then the message to the subconscious, to the universe, to the unified field, all gets distorted, and we start getting back that altered answer, altered question, altered intention. In other words, we don't get back what our intention really is. This morning I stopped in for breakfast. Actually, I just finished. I'm still in the parking lot, which is what got me to preempted to go ahead and do this a little quicker than I wanted to. But, you know, I pay attention to people, and I watch people, how they interact, and, you know, what they're doing and stuff. And their clarity, their intention of their lives appears to be very self-centered, very narcissistic, very much about their needs and wants, to the exclusion of other people and what's going on with those folks around them. And that's a distraction. That's a deviation, right, from pure intention. That's a deviation away from what your intentions might be, what you're trying to manifest, because it's all self-centered. It's very specific about the person and their wants and needs at the very moment, as opposed to, you know, here I am bringing my kids into Whole Foods to shop and show them, you know, this is another level of life that is very nice and comfortable, and it offers an array of very fresh and wholesome food, and it's a good place to teach kids, you know, about this is the kind of life it would be nice if you could produce this in your own world as you get older. But instead, the moms, and again, I don't see any dads in there, or I would say dads, but you know, the moms are just so self-consumed with themselves and being there, and this is going to turn out the way that I want it to be. So that's an example of people that are misguided with their intentions. You know, we need to have the clarity of intention and the heightened emotion without the distraction, without the deviation. What is it? How did I use this? Distraction, diversion, and deviation. Sometimes that's how our life turns out, as opposed to, you know, that's how our life turns out, as opposed to what we're really looking to accomplish. We have diversions, distractions, and deviations because of the self-centeredness, because of the narcissism, because of the world centering around me, and we never end up manifesting what we need to have manifest. Last evening, last comment, and then I'm going to stop. Last evening I was at kind of a, I don't know, get together with people at a very upper hotel, motel, right? And people, again, were doing the same sort of thing. And all I'm doing is just observing. I'm not trying to criticize anybody. I'm just observing and giving you some feedback and why manifestations and intentions are not being met. And I noticed the same thing there last evening, and actually 2 evenings before that. You know, the people are consumed with themselves and very narcissistic, very self-centered. The world is all about me, and that's their concern, and that's a distraction, diversion, and deviation. You know, that takes away from their intention and what their intention happens to be. Um, food for thought. Food for thought. The critical thing, and what I would like you to take away from this, is I'm going to, Dr. Joe says this so eloquently, and it is staying present. If you stay present, you don't have distractions, diversions, and deviations taking away from what you want to have manifested or your intentions. So you have purity of belief. You're in the here and now. It's not about you. It's about this very moment and what's happening in your life right now. And not anything that had to do with the past. You're not hung up on the past. You're not projecting out onto the future based on your past. You're dealing with the here and now. So you have purity of thought, purity of belief, and things are really, really clear. They say, and again, that's all these other people, professional people out there, they indicate, they suggest, they say that if we can stay in the present, we don't have distractions, diversions, deviations, bitterness, anger, hostility, just all the ugliness stuff that upregulates the diseased genes. And with that, you're upregulating all of the healthy genes that are building your immune system and continuing to keep you on track, on a narrow track with what your intention happens to be, with what your wishes and desires happen to be, right? And you're actually redesigning your belief system, reprogramming your belief system into, or from a limiting belief system into a belief system that's congruent with your wishes and desires. All right. Last sentence to kind of capsulize the whole thing. Life is very simple, and obtaining your wishes and desires is very obtainable if we can stay in the present. So I noticed I've been trying to pay attention to the people that are watching, and I'm very appreciative of that. I'm trying to build up to 1,000, or they shut me down. If you don't have 1,000, they kind of discourage you from going on. But if you have anybody who might have an interest in listening to this, please inform them to do so. I'm pretty good about doing these every single day. There is content, there is meaning, there is purpose to listening to them. Being self-supportive. I say this every day or 2 or 10 or 12 or whatever. I never get anything, but I still continue to do it in hopes and belief that you don't have to be hired by a company in order to get a paycheck. Send your pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars to my PayPal account, whatever you wish. You know, it's jzager@gmail.com. Everybody has a PayPal account, and by going, how you get into mine is my email address, which is jzager@gmail.com. It helps. I mean, I haven't ever, well, I've received a couple things here and there, and that was really great. It was really appreciated, and I'm very grateful for that. But I could sure use that a little more regularly. Otherwise, there is no such thing as income for me. So anyway, I've enjoyed it. It was kind of short. Well, 15 minutes. That's not bad. Look forward to talking to y'all again tomorrow. God bless everybody. Take care of one another. And I'll talk to you real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.